straight white Christian.
No, Jesse, this is the subscribe thing.
Oh, yeah. I need you all to subscribe, support us on Patreon, like us on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter.
Got it.
Duncan, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Thank you, Jesse. The first thing I want to say is happy 4th of July and happy White History Month.
Right on. And back at you, Duncan. You're a real man.
Thank you. Yeah, the white man has done so much for this world and this nation. You look at all the other countries, the only stable cities, the only large, skyscrapers are places that white people have cultivated.
Yes. And it's so amazing, too, that white people have done these things, and then the people of color want to go to their countries, and they want to take it over. They want to destroy white people. It's the darndest thing I've ever seen.
I know. It's disgraceful. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Well, hopefully that'll start to change. If white people ever stand up, that would be over.
And it's other thing is the white people are the most accepting people. You look at it, you think all this illegal immigrant stuff would pass in any other country? No, it wouldn't. White people are more accepting and tolerant than any other race of people in the world, and we're still disrespected.
Because they have gone beyond tolerance to weakness. And so a lot of people see white people as afraid to stand up. And especially white men, they see white men as afraid. And I don't know why that is. I mean, if you don't stand up, they're going to destroy you.
Right. Anyway, the reason I call this, I live over here in Seattle, very liberal city, and my wife has actually manipulated my son into having these very liberal, Democrat, far-left socialist views. And now he neglects me. My son thinks that I'm some racist because of my past.
Duncan.
I lived in North Carolina.
Are you married?
Yeah, I'm married to my wife. We didn't have no child out of wedlock or anything. And, I've been listening to you for a while. I follow what you say. I'm the head of my household. I'm the head of my wife. She knows to not speak out of turn to me. Believe me, I'll discipline her. But for whatever reason, she thinks that she can manipulate my child's mind into resenting me. And it's frustrating.
And how old is your son?
My son's 18.
He's 18?
Yes.
Does he still live at home?
Yeah, he still lives at home, but, he's always going upstairs, then doing his homework, locking his room, going out with his friends, and he doesn't really talk to me.
And when you ask him why, what does he say?
He calls me a racist. He calls me a bigot. All this stuff that's pushed by, and even the school system makes it worse because all they show is civil rights movement, slavery. They don't even talk about the fact that the white people, the fact they were slaves in America is a blessing. America's the greatest country in the world. If they were slaves in Africa or in the Middle East, they would have been dead. They castrated the slaves there, and it would have been a lot worse for them.
But Duncan, if your son is now 18 years old, and you say that you're the head of your wife, if you're the head of your wife, why did you allow this to happen long ago? I mean, this has been going on for a long time, not at 18. It already started. Why did you stand between your wife and your son while he was growing up?
Well, to tell you the truth, I had a lot. In North Carolina, he was fine because the people there aren't a bunch of loonies from the left. So it wasn't all that bad, but, it is partly my fault. I had a lot of work. I wasn't able to spend too much time at home when my child was growing up. So my wife was really the one raising him.
Oh, no wonder. So here's what I recommend. Your son is now 18 years old. I highly recommend that you get with him and apologize for allowing that to happen to him. Because it sounds like, if what you're saying is true, your wife have turned your son against you. And so while you're out earning a living, she was working on turning your son away from you. And so I would apologize to him for allowing that to happen and let him know he needs to drop his anger for his mother because he's resenting you with his mother resentment. He feels about you the way she feels about you. Your wife is not your friend. And so I would start working on those things. Does he have a job?
Yeah, he had a job, but not currently.
And why not currently?
He just put his time out because of school. He wanted to put more attention into school.
But your son should be out of the home, working and doing whatever it is he wants to do. This man doesn't respect you. He doesn't love you as his father. He doesn't respect you. He should be out of the home anyway at 18 years old. You're hurting him by not dealing with the issue now.
I should. I think you're right, Jesse. You know, the other thing I forgot to mention, this is part of the problem is, I mentioned my past, so I'm actually an ex-KKK member, but this was from the 80s. So he needs to understand that what he saw in all those documentaries shown at the school is not accurate. And what the KKK does now is not what they were doing.
How old are you now?
55.
Oh, you sound so much younger.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And you're from South Carolina to
North Carolina, Dobson, North Carolina.
So listen, here's if what you're saying is true. You got to get with your son, have an honest dialogue with him, and let him know you apologize for allowing his mother and the public to brainwash him like this and turn you away from him, and explain to him why you're a part of the KKK and what was going on with that. And then he will start to see you in the way that he should see you. But if you don't deal with him, and do it without anger, don't be mad about it, because your son cannot help that his mother turned him away from you. He was helpless to her. So
exactly. And also like to get his mind off of those socialist, leftist views of his, because he needs to understand these Democrat politicians, these hypocrites. They don't give two damns about about Mexicans. I like to call them illegal felons.
Where's your son right now?
Right now, he's out with some friends right now.
Oh, can you have him call me one day on the show?
Yes, gladly.
Yeah, have him call me. But you got to get over your anger. You're not going to be able to help him by dealing with him with the same spirit that his mother is dealing with him. You're an angry person, and there's no love in that. And all you're going to do is feed into the anger that he already has for you, and he's going to feel justified to hate you.
I'm sorry. It's just a little frustrating. You got all these...
but you can't be that way as the head of your wife and your family.
When he's getting brainwashed by these gay pride parades, they're indoctrinating children to be... It's a sickening...
Duncan,
homosexuality is a lifestyle sickening.
Duncan, hold on. Let me take a break. Lord have mercy. Hey, Duncan?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I want you to listen to me real good.
Yeah.
You are making a horrible mistake, and a lot of conservatives make this mistake. You have anger. You sound to be really into politics and what society is doing, and you are overreacting to it with anger and carrying on about it. And then at home, you're not patient with your wife and son, and that's working against you. That's why Obama won the election when he was president, because a lot of Christian conservative people have anger, and they're overdoing it with politics, and they're driving their kids crazy. The kids see that the parents may have the right intention but the wrong spirit, and they're turning their children away from them because the kids are angry at the way you're acting about the world. You're not supposed to hate the homosexuals. You're not supposed to hate the liberals. You're supposed to speak up and deal with them, but not hate them because it's affecting your family. So you got to overcome that. I'm trying to work with you on what's happening in your home, and you keep going off about what's happening in the public. And that is what is turning your son away from you as well.
I just want to say a couple more things. First of all, not only do I want him to resent me, I want him to understand Barack Hussein Obama and his 49ers broad shoulder.
Duncan, no. Did you just hear what I said?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Jesse.
You got to cut this out, man. You're doing this with the wrong spirit. If you didn't have this spirit of anger, your son would be close to you, and you would still be able to deal with politics and what's happening in the world. You wouldn't be having this issue with your son if you had the right spirit. It's your fault.
I think you're right.
I'm sorry?
I think you're right. You're making a point here for sure.
And what am I saying?
That, maybe it is my anger towards politics and society. Maybe I just got to, get that out and make it more about myself and my family.
Yeah, and then you will be able to deal with politics and stuff like that in the right way. But you've turned your son off because you've been like a nutcase about this, and he doesn't like that.
Well, I guess before I go, I just want to say, thankfully there are people like yourself. It's a real shame in this country that black conservatives are some kind of subcategory because of how many of them vote Democrat. But, black people like yourself, it almost gets me emotional. But people like yourself really bring up my hopes for the future of this nation.
Thank you. But call me tomorrow so I can talk to your son.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Thank you for your time, Jesse.
Okay. Amazing. Sad. Amazing. Back in a moment. I want to go to Duncan out of Seattle, Washington. Duncan, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Duncan.
So I got on yesterday, and I want to let you know I actually ended up talking to my son that night.
Duncan, I was thinking about you. It's weird. You crossed my mind this morning. I remember your call from yesterday. You were so emotional and upset, and then saying that your wife had turned your son against you. And
Yes.
and I told you need to calm down. You're having more of a negative impact on your son than your wife because you're too into this political stuff with the wrong spirit.
Right.
And so
Anyway,
what happened?
Oh, go ahead. So, I had to do a little bit of explaining to him, and a little bit of it was still hard. He still, because of my past ties to the KKK, but I even had to tell him, nowadays they're actually accepting, certain groups. They're accepting blacks and homosexuals and Jewish people and blacks. And, he's got to know I'm not part of the KKK anymore anyway. So you can't, like you were saying, you woke up around your 30s. That's around the time I left the KKK. So he can't, why is he giving me stuff like that for something that happened decades ago?
Well, but you're still dealing with it in the wrong way. You got to realize his father was a KKK member, and that meant you were angry, you were out of control, and that impacted his life. And now that you've gotten older and you realize that you were wrong, but he's still traumatized. So instead of saying, why he got him, you just be patient until he overcome, because he's going to eventually see that you no longer have that anger. You're not supporting wrongdoing, and he would change as he's watching you change. So you have to be patient with him until he make that change, and also apologize to your wife too, because it's disappointing to women to be married to angry men. And so just apologize and be patient. Don't take it personal. If they're still overreacting to the trauma, you got to show them perfect love, and eventually they'll come around.
All right, that's good to know. I also told my child, since he was so secluded with just him being with my wife, I told him, the man comes before the wife and then the child. I think if he's going to have a tie with any one of his parents more than the other, it should be the father. And it's my fault for not being there because I had work, when he was growing up and he was around my wife most of the time.
But make sure you change, though. You got to be it. Call me tomorrow early. I want to finish this conversation. I'm out of time. Clayton, Lewis, Gary, and everybody else, I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good day.